Good evening. Welcome back to Hellhound's Late Night Spook Show here in the Horror Metal channel with your host, Hellhound, in the flesh. So, the last video I did yesterday was a re-review of one of the very first movies I ever reviewed on this channel, like 6 years ago. Return of the Living Dead. I redid that one because the original video I set to private because it sucked. And another early movie I reviewed was Re-Animator from 1985. So I set that one to private as well, and I'm going to redo that review right now. So let's go and begin. Yes, that's right. Re-Animator, directed by Stuart Gordon, one of my favorite movies of all time. So, what's it about? Well, Re-Animator is a highly entertaining 80s gore fest, and the main premise is it concerns the egotistical young Herbert West, played excellently by Jeffrey Combs, who develops a formula that can revive the dead. And so he attends a medical university, Miskatonic University, to be exact, to expand his knowledge as well as perfect his groundbreaking creation, his amazing discovery. He teams up with a fellow student named Dan Kane, played by Bruce Abbott, who is dating the dean's daughter, Meg Halsey, played by Barbara Crampton, one of my favorite scream queens. So they begin experimenting together with various corpses from the morgue, which often brings about disastrous results, as you can imagine. So, a professor who's actually a teacher at the university, Dr. Carl Hill, played by David Gale, he plots to steal West's formula and make it his own. But he fails and ends up being decapitated and brought back to life by West. And Dr. Hill is now a headless body and a talking severed head. Really funny stuff. That's the basic plot. This is an excellent horror comedy for gorehounds that definitely lives up to its hype, and then some. It's loosely based on the H.P. Lovecraft story. Just a fast-paced splatterfest thriller that with superb special effects as well, a compelling story, great acting and characters. Jeffrey Combs in particular is just wonderful as the obsessed Herbert West, and Dr. Hill, the living disembodied head, is one of my favorite horror villains as well. He's this movie's very gory, like I said, and fits right in very well with other movies of this type, such as The Evil Dead or Dead Alive, aka Brain Dead. So if you're a fan of over-the-top, blood-soaked 80s films, then be sure to give this one a watch, because I think you'll be very pleased. At least I hope so. I can't recommend this movie enough. It's just a blast. It's just a hoot and a half. Yeah, as I said, it was directed by Stuart Gordon, loosely based on a H.P. Lovecraft story, and produced by Brian Yuzna, who directed the 2 sequels, which I'll get to in a minute. John Carl Buechler did some of the makeup effects, and as well as Anthony Dublin and John Nolan. Richard Band composed the music, and the screenplay is by Dennis Pauly, William J. Norris, and Stuart Gordon himself. Jeffrey Combs is one of my favorite horror actors by far, and like I said, David Gale plays a great villain, and he actually returned in the second movie as well, which I'll elaborate on here in a second. Very fun movie, very very bloody, very and it blends horror and humor pretty well, and just highly amusing. I saw this movie years ago, and it just blew me away. It just quickly became one of my favorites instantaneously. Great cast, great characters, great story, great cinematography, great directing, great movie. I really don't have anything bad to say about it, It's very stylish and just filled with all kinds of gore and laughs, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's not like extremely cheesy or like ridiculous either. You know, it's just the right balance. Um, and yeah, I just love it. I really got to get a hold of that glowing green liquid, you know, that revives the dead, because I think it'd be come in handy. You know, be a cool thing to have. Yeah, Re-Animator, directed by Stuart Gordon from 1985. Highly recommend it. Check it out right away. I really need to get this on Blu-ray. I think is Arrow Video, I believe, is the one that has a Blu-ray release out, and I really need to pick that up because it's loaded with special features. It really looks awesome. I think it even comes with a comic book, one of the big box sets. It's out of print now. It's getting kind of pricey, so but I'll get it eventually, and you guys will be the first to know when I do. It's of course followed by a sequel, Bride of Re-Animator. This one was directed by Brian Yuzna, who produced the last film, like I said. Really fun movie, too. A really great follow-up. As I said, yeah, Herbert West, played by Jeffrey Combs once again, and Dan Kane, again, played by Bruce Abbott, return, as does Dr. Hill. Yeah, great sequel. It's a little... I'd say it's maybe a little darker than the original, and like maybe a little more serious. There's not quite as much humor in this one as in the first movie. But it's definitely very, very gory as well, and very horrific, for sure. But I've already reviewed this one on my channel. I didn't set that video to private, so check out my review of this one for more info on that, more of my full thoughts. I recommend it. And then there's also Beyond Re-Animator, which came out several years later, 2003, I believe. Yeah, pretty sure it's 2003 or 2004, somewhere around there. Brian Yuzna directed this one as well, and yeah, it's really good. Most of it takes place in a prison. Jeffrey Combs returns as Dr. West. He's the only returning cast member from the first two, and he hasn't aged a day. He's still just as great as ever. He steals every scene he's in. He's just very charismatic. He's just awesome. He makes anything good. Any movie he's in is automatically made way better if he's in it, and this is no exception. It's another great sequel. So yeah, really solid trilogy. I really wish they would make a fourth film. They were supposed to... They always talked about making one called House of Re-Animator, which would take place in the White House and be like zombie presidents and vice presidents and politicians and stuff, which I think would be kind of interesting, you know. Take place in Washington, D.C., I guess. I wish they'd hop on that, because I think that'd be really cool. I'd love to see a fourth film, but only if Jeffrey Combs returns as Herbert West, of course. Yeah, well, I think that about covers it. That's my review, my re-review of Re-Animator from 1985. Go check it out if you haven't already. Great movie. I highly recommend it. And like I said, I need to get it on Blu-ray. Alright guys, well that about does it. Thank you for watching my late night spook show here on the Horror Metal channel. I'm Hellhound, and until next time, later.